Welcome back, everybody.
That's a little strong, Micah.
Hi, I'm happy to be here again. Welcome back to the DisasterMinds Podcast. I'm Micah.
Hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Will.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the DisasterMinds Podcast. So, I want to kick us off with something.
We need to put like a warning, like before the episode says Micah's gonna yell.
No, they have to. No.
It has to be a surprise.
If they don't know by now that I'm going to yell at any given moment, then they're not actually watching the podcast.
Mm.
So it's their own fault.
Mm-hmm.
Be a faithful follower of this entity here, and you will know.
You ever seen those videos on YouTube that says like put on your headphones for this? It's like this is take your headphones out for this one. Like do not.
Everyone, turn your volume up.
Please mute warning.
It's like
do not listen
when
to
you go to
Dolby
movies
Theater.
and they have like put on your 3D glasses now. That's I was just making another reference to what you guys were talking about. But apparently, we were done with that.
We're done with that, Micah.
Okay.
Move on. Also, can I call you out real quick? I think it's really funny how before we start recording, you like make your voice 2 or 3 octaves lower. Off camera, Micah has the highest pitch voice I've ever heard. But I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
I also yeah. Please talk like your normal voice. Let them...
normally throughout my day, I sound like this. When I get in front of the camera, I like to make myself sound a little bit more.
Right. You don't want to sound too what is it? Wonderland? What's that place? Michael Jackson's home?
Mike Tyson.
Neverland?
Neverland. I think it's Neverland. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so you guys get a facade.
Oh yeah, I guess that's
who
Mike
I
Tyson.
really am. This is a persona that I have for the podcast.
Okay.
The second we turn it off, he's like, "Good episode, guys."
Yeah.
Not quite, but
he hangs out with Elmo a bit too much.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about the Book of Boba Fett a little bit because no one else has seen it, but then Will told me that he had actually watched it because he appreciates good TV shows.
So basically, starting this out, if you haven't seen Book of Boba Fett, maybe...
Oh.
Spoiler
warning. Yeah, but hey, I said it, so now you know. So for those of you who don't know, if you don't know, you're heathens. The Book of Boba Fett is on Disney Plus, and it's a series following Boba Fett after the events that he was in with the Mandalorian. And I was going to jump into the talk. Well, no, let's do an overview. Let's do an overview of like what has happened so far.
Deal.
So first episode, I really enjoyed. It was very much. Like what happened. It was like part of what we'd always been looking for. What happened to Boba Fett after we had last seen him in episode 6.
Right, but up until the Mandalorian, we really had no definitive proof that he did survive.
Right. No, that's what I mean. That's what I loved about the first
right.
episode because we saw how he got out of it.
No, I know, but I mean, like that was just months ago.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like for 40 years.
Yeah.
He was just dead.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. People. Yeah. Just assumed that he was among the. Sleeping with the.
Right.
Sleeping with
the fishes.
With
the sand fishes.
Yeah. So that was cool. The first episode, yeah, definitely gave a lot more of the history. I enjoyed I really enjoyed his saga with the Tusken Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, it's still going on, but just like watching his evolution with them and how he has evolved to gain their trust, I thought was really impressive. What'd you think about that, Will?
I thought it was. I really enjoyed that. I like that we don't get a good view of the Tusken Raiders throughout the movie series, and then you have this show to dive more into like you see kind of their culture or the way they're a nomadic people. And they make a big deal about how like these sands belong to these people.
Yeah.
Like once it dried up, this was theirs, and people are doing like all sorts of business on it that they shouldn't be, and like how is that affecting these people? They're getting raided by other groups, other gangs and stuff, and it's like this isn't a gang. This is a tribe that this is their home, and then they dive into the like sort of the way they fight with their giant stick thing.
Right.
And they go through like teaching Boba Fett
proper
how to hold it, the way they fight, and they made that more modern. Because if you were gonna watch A New Hope, it's like the Tusken Raiders is like bonk, but then they dive into it. There's more.
But they were pretty accurate.
Yeah. They got the job done.
I think though, if anything, we're learning that the Tusken Raiders are actually victims most of the time, and that. I don't know how much Anakin was justified in slaughtering them anymore. Not that he ever was. Yeah. But
they kidnapped his mom.
They did.
Hey,
regardless of I'm not Listen, the Tusken Raider history, I could talk to you about that like anyone else, all right? It's important to me that we get that point across. But they still kidnapped his mom. That doesn't allow genocide to happen, but, you know.
Right. No, and I agree. I'm saying, though.
He was a temperamental guy.
Anakin? No. What I'm meaning is we're learning more about just who they are as people, right? I think it's almost fair to call them that now. And to what?
It was a weird thing to throw in there.
What do you mean?
Almost people. I think it's cool we can call them that now.
I don't know. What I mean...
It didn't feel very politically correct, Micah.
So...
Yeah, but what I'm trying to get at is
You're on thin sand, buddy.
Okay, fine. Let me choose my words
You're walking on
very
quicksand.
carefully here. All right. We are learning more about the Tusken Raiders. As you said, we're discovering that they're more of a nomadic people and that they have culture, they have history, they are... they have feelings, even if you will, right?
I didn't need the Tusken Raiders to be human.
No, I agree. I didn't either. But what I'm saying is, the point I'm trying to get at is we're getting more about them revealed to us.
Yeah.
Whether we ask for it or not, we're getting it, and it's giving us a different insight to them, you know? And so, yes, they kidnapped Anakin's mother, and they killed her, and they did, Owen's dad, the loss of his leg due to the Tusken Raiders, and all this other stuff. Yes, I get that. But they were attacked themselves. They were
actually, didn't they... Well, Boba Fett was talking about that in the Book of Boba Fett. There's there are different tribes of Sand people. So
That's
some
also
of
true.
them, the people he's with are a peaceful people.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. You can't speak too generally now about Tusken
Okay,
Raiders.
you know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what I should be saying. Maybe I've been thinking about the Tusken Raiders in a general term, and I'm learning that they all are different. They're different tribes, maybe even different ways of how they live out the culture. Point is, I'm not trying to get in this rabbit hole anymore. We're learning more about the Tusken Raiders. We learned about how Boba Fett grew to have their trust. And now, as the show goes back and forth from past to present, in his past and present at least, we're learning more about that, and then also what he's doing, taking over as essentially the mob boss on Tatooine.
Yes.
For the Mos Eisley's area and Mos Espa, which has been, I think, really exciting. I'm really enjoying that. Little critique on the third episode. I thought it was probably the best one so far, but that Power Ranger biker gang was a little bit...
it was too poppy. It was cyberpunk.
It was cyberpunky, and I said if they had the exact same bike design, which they kind of like mopeds, if they had the exact same design, but they just gave it a rustic look instead, I would have believed it more. And because it was kind of weird. It was like out of nowhere, all of a sudden, so to give a little bit of backstory, he recruited this gang of bikers to join him in his army, I guess, if he's building an army, whatever he is, his mob boss clan, and he pack your things and come with me, and they turn and I just thought they were gonna grab bags or whatever, but they go to these dirt bikes or these little moped bikes. No way. They're all bright and they're and they're blue, they're yellow, red, and I'm that's out of place, especially in Tatooine. If it was on Coruscant, maybe, but it's Tatooine.
Right, they're on a sand.
Yeah,
they're scavengers, and where would they have scavenged that?
And they're all the people have these augmentations to them. He was warned not to go talk to them because they all have these cybernetic enhancements. One guy has a foot, a leg that he can shoot out. It's like a Go-Go Gadget guy.
Actually, yeah, Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget, and then another person has a flamethrower attached to their arm. Someone has a really cybernetic eye that he can see things with.
Yeah.
Enhanced. I don't know. They're kind of cartoony to me, but I think they're going to be fun.
Yeah.
I just I just was looking at the Book of Boba Fett on IMDb, and there's this article that says, "Why does Boba Fett want revenge on Mace Windu?"
That has not been mentioned yet.
They have, yeah.
Isn't it extremely obvious?
Yeah, though. I mean, yeah.
because he killed his dad.
Yeah, I mean, what do we mean?
No, I don't know. There could be a number of reasons.
But also,
besides the fact that he slaughtered his dad.
Are they implying that Mace Windu's still alive?
There's been speculations that we never. Okay, there's that Star Wars theory where it's so far if you don't actually see someone physically dead.
Well, that's because they're resurrecting everybody.
No, you're right though. Boba Fett. We never saw him die. He's back from the dead.
Okay, but like, you know, getting thrown into a giant animal's mouth is it implies death to me. I don't know.
I think what they're trying. I think what they are. How they want to.
Hey, it was a lame ending for Boba Fett.
No, it was. He's getting the story that he probably deserves.
For a guy who only had 11 minutes of screen time or whatever.
Right. I think
lame ending.
That you know, but how they would probably explain that away is his armor. You know, the Mandalorian armor is pretty. But I don't know.
I'm not saying you can't find ways to explain it away. I'm just saying I think that when he was thrown in the Starlight Pit, probably the intent was he died.
Yeah. I agree
same with and I don't have a problem with this, but Darth Maul. I think the intent was he died.
Look at this though. Think about this. Everyone who has fallen into some sort of pit has never really died. You know,
the Emperor.
No, he didn't.
He lived.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Did he die or was he restrrected or did he just?
I think he was resurrected.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't
that
dead.
Reminds me.
Well, he wasn't dead. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, he wasn't even dead.
You guys seen the the robot chicken thing where they like this janitor, he's like cleaning up the robot chicken Star Wars. This janitor's cleaning up on like these different places, and like he's sweeping up on the Death Star or something like that. He's like,
how it goes is he starts in Naboo.
And
Darth Maul falls on him.
Darth Maul, he's like, oh, I gotta get that promotion to Coruscant.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Coruscant and Mace Windu. Mace
Windu
falls, and he's sweeping. He's like, oh my god, I gotta get that promotion to the Death Star.
Yeah.
And then he goes there, and the Emperor falls, and he's like sweeping. He's like, oh my god. Like,
and then he's always there to see the bodies.
Yeah, that's a great bit.
And so far, 2 of the 3 people that have that janitor has seen he's the guy.
And Mace Windu is the last one.
Yeah,
so
that janitor is the reason that these people.
I know. I would be cool. I know that didn't Samuel Jackson say he wanted to come back? So
I'm sure he
I thought he said that he wanted to come back in that universe, but he's dead. So, but I don't know.
No.
I guess you have to have a corroded kyber crystal lightsaber stabbed through your chest in order to actually die in the series.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. Or sadness.
Oh, that's another emotion.
That can get some people.
Yeah, that actually was the most fatal, I think.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
That had.
I mean, it was equally fatal.
What about Luke, who just disintegrated? He just left his existence.
Okay, but
getting ghosted out.
That's what I was gonna say.
Did.
That's what I was gonna say. Also, it's even if you do die, you still live in that universe because they come back as ghosts.
Only if you have force sensitivity, though.
Like most characters in the universe have force sensitivity.
Yeah. Not saying you're wrong.
Well, and all the ones who don't, I guess, just fall down pits and survive.
Yeah.
Well, that's only Boba Fett at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
That's true.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, you guys were talking about.
Boba Fett.
Well,
I like the Danny Trejo.
That was great.
Danny Trejo with the Rancor.
I want to say something about that. I noticed Danny Trejo before I noticed the Rancor. I did. I was like.
You saw the mustache. And you're
I did. I was like, is that?
And he's got the the hair.
He looks like Machete, right? He looks like himself. I go, that and then they're talking, and then they mention the generous gift. I go, oh, that's a freaking Rancor. But at first I didn't know if we could trust him. He kind of seemed like he seemed a little bit shady.
It seemed like with the whole when Boba Fett's talking about training him, and then he walks away, and he's like, "Don't worry, he'll be back." And I'm like, is he gonna convince Boba Fett that Rancor's peaceful, and then just watch him have to fight?
Yeah,
and because he's a gift still from the Hutt, the twins.
Yeah,
and we're like. The way his lines are delivered makes me think he's untrustworthy.
I agree.
But I am totally sucked into Boba Fett's excitement with having a Rancor. He's like, I want to ride this thing.
Yeah, we start today.
He's like, it's gonna take a lot of discipline. I'm like, well, I hope you're actually a Rancor trainer that can make this happen.
Yeah, honestly, I would love, and later on in the series, because I think it looks like they're trying to build up for some big war that's gonna be happening with mob bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to watch Boba Fett this charge into war
on a Rancor. That would be awesome.
I think it'd be the coolest thing in Star Wars to happen in a long time.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo is in a lot of stuff, guys.
Yeah,
he's a very philanthropic dude.
Guys, he's in 30 things that haven't been released yet.
Oh wow!
And that's just getting me down to 2021.
So he's just doing a lot of cameos,
I guess
one day on
there's just a bunch of stuff that's
he does a lot of indie films,
post-production, filming, pre-production, announced. So these things are probably years to come, but like
that's pretty cool.
Busy dude.
That's insane.
He's
I've never seen it. It took 10 credits before it got to something that had a release date.
I think it's hilarious that not hilarious. It's kind of an excessive word. I just think it's funny to think that Danny Trejo is now like a canon character in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Like growing up, I never would have thought of like that being a thing, and now it's very Sorry, that got me thinking about like actors who.
People actors.
Yeah, well, I said people, but that would be more direct to say actors, actresses.
He's also almost 80.
That's crazy, actually. Like Marvel, who like they've built up such, not to go back to Marvel every episode, but this real quick, who have built up such a catalog of movies. Like it's really impossible to not come across an actor who hasn't been in like some sort of Marvel iteration anymore,
Right.
And a lot recently, like Game of Thrones people are coming into Marvel. I mean, Eternals, yes, that was very obvious. You had two big characters' names, but I think there's a movie coming out, or at least Amelia Clark has confirmed that she's going to be in some new Disney Plus series.
Well, she was in Star Wars also, so she so she has that credit just for Disney.
Yeah, she's getting on the Disney bus now, isn't she?
Yeah, pretty much everybody. Paid by Disney.
I guess that's really what I should be saying. It's not so much Marvel, it's just Disney in general has.
Well, especially when they have the two biggest franchises right now.
Right.
Star Wars and Marvel. Those are the two biggest movies by a long shot.
And then they're animated.
But actually, you guys seen that there's like 4 more Avatars like set to come out over the next 10 years?
Yeah.
Maybe that franchise they'll keep up their trend of $1 billion movies, because that was the second movie to ever hit $1 billion, right? And then since then there's just been
Titanic.
Titanic was the first, and it was like a significant time.
Yeah.
Like that's like 10 years or 12 years between the two movies or something like that.
Well, haven't they already filmed?
I think they kind of did like a Lord of the Rings type of thing where they filmed all of the Avatars together, not with the original one. But they've done all the filming now, and so they're basically all done. And I think, I'm assuming they'll just release them all. I don't know, but it might have been based on how well they do, whether they release another one. So,
that would kind of suck, right?
If they have a like a art like a story arc.
Yeah, like you filmed all these movies already.
Yeah.
And then you have everything set up. Ready
but maybe the budget's cheaper because they film them all together. I don't know.
It could be, but still, it would just to have that go to waste, to do all this work, and then it just fades away because of the second one.
How excited are you though for a sequel to Avatar? Like, where does that rank on like a thing that people want?
Yeah,
I know it was a big deal when it came out. I don't really know why. Like,
it goes back to what you were saying about standalone movies. It's like that's a well done one that doesn't. But now it's gonna have. It already has 4 sequels. I know.
Like lined up for the next 10 years. They'll be released like every 2 years.
2028 or something.
Yeah, something like that. Which I guess is only 6 years. But I don't know. I don't think I needed any more Avatar. Like,
well, on that, I agree. I don't think we really need more Avatar, like another a sequel to it. But that actually reminds me of, well, you were saying something about you watched the special features to John Wick, and they kind of explained the. Well, I'll let you.
Yeah. So during my COVID teen, I went through the 3 John Wick movies, and I had the DVD set so I could do like the special features on them.
Nice.
And on the third one, they dive into like, they talk about the curse of the sequel and like how a lot of times like, the original was better, and then like a lot of sequels, there's not really a point. Like when movies have a good standalone thing. Last episode you talked about Quiet Place. And it's like, this was a good story. It doesn't need a sequel. What John Wick does is like people liked the action of it, and they wanted more of the. They're asking questions about the like underground universe. Like there are a lot of unanswered questions in the first one, even though with the vagueness of that universe, the language that John Wick is using, and like the continental, they're like, this can stand alone. But instead of saying here are more new events that are happening to spark a sequel, we are going to talk about consequences and how the underworld that does exist, that already exists by virtue of the first movie, how does that play into the story?
So how can we uncover that? For the actions that John Wick did, there are reactions to that?
Mm-hmm. Like even his ability to be out of the organization. It starts with him getting out, and then he gets thrown right back in. And people are saying, John, you can't just go out and come back in after going through what you went through. There are people that you owe, and there is an underground system of checks and balances for this. And so they dive into that, and it enhances the story without saying, we're going to find a unique thing, something more unique than what we did in the first one.
Isn't John Wick kind of similar to the Equalizer, like in the way that it's like a guy who's
Equalizer, he's more of a personal contract guy.
Yeah.
He's like ex-military who has a special set of skills as most guys do anymore.
Okay.
And he just like, he's down the street, and he's like in the first one, he in the movies at least, because it wasn't a TV show originally, but in the movies with Denzel Washington, he's on the streets.
I thought it was a TV show originally.
That's what I said.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a TV show originally, and then they made the movies with Denzel.
Yeah.
So, and like in that movie, he saw a gal. It was Chloe Moretz, Grace Moretz character.
Moretz. I don't know how to say
her. He like saw her being abused, and that kind of sparked him.
But he seems to know so much about that underground mafia.
I think he just has a vast knowledge for being around and what he's his.
That's a different sort of like that is crimes. Those are a gang. It's less of a criminal underworld of John Wick.
Exactly.
That is a very expansive deal with like they have their gold coin currency. Mm-hmm. They have rules. They all have. They're classy about the rules.
Yeah, because there's no killing.
No killing on continental grounds.
Continental grounds, yeah.
You have to like honoring markers. You can have favors done for you, but you are like bound by blood to pay them.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it. Equalizer is really just like everyday guy with a history and like
who likes to set
things right.
Like a balance in the neighborhood or whatever. Yeah. Like Mr. Rogers.
He's like more aggressive.
A violent Mr.
He's like a little bit. Well, I mean, externally he tries to keep it light, but like when it comes down to maybe you shouldn't have mean mugged this guy at the grocery store. Okay? But now I'm gonna go kill you.
The second one, he's like there's a kid who makes a lot of recurrence in the show, in the movie, and he's just like trying to keep your head straight. He's like, you're gonna paint this wall for me today. You're gonna paint the outside of my house, and he goes to the scene where he goes to the apartment building, and he like gets the kid out of there. That scene's intense.
The scene.
I was on the edge of my seat, and I was like, "Oh,
is it Pedro Pascal?"
Yep.
Yeah, but the scene where the kid is behind the double pane window, like the mirror, and he's in that like back room in the Equalizer 2, like because he's in Denzel's house.
Yeah. And he's watching.
And he's like, and the guy obviously knows that there's something like some way where he is because he knew he was in that house. I mean, that was a tense scene. That was a good one.
That was very.
I like that. I like those Equalizer movies a lot. So
they're fun.
I think I've seen the first John Wick. I have not seen the other two, but I know that you're very into.
I love them. Yeah. I think it's just a classic. Yeah. It's a unique underworld. But it's like still the classic the guy just wants out. In the first one, it very much stuck to the like. I keep saying classic because it's like Russian mob guy wanted out of organization. He's back in. He's mysterious. We don't know a lot about him, but he's like, there are all these legends about him.
Yeah,
the car chases. They call him the boogeyman, and then the guy has the line about he's like, well, he's not exactly the boogeyman. He's the guy you sent to kill the boogeyman. And then you get the chills, and then you see him like take out this squad of hitmen that were sent to him, and it sticks to a good. They didn't waste anything on that movie. It's like we don't need to be too original with the how John Wick is and his set of skills.
Yeah.
But we are going to be original about the underworld. And then they do that. And then and that kind of gives them a head start into the second one. So it's in the third one where it's like, we can do a lot more with this now.
Yeah.
And give him a unique story that pertains to this thing that already existed.
There's already a fourth one announced, right? Like it's
I got pushed back recently, but
that's cool.
Isn't it the second one where there's that great knife fight scene? Or
the third one?
Which is the one where him and the guy, and they're like in the weapon store, and
Yeah,
they
they
keep
like
breaking open.
They look around and they're just like smashing things and grabbing the knives
They
and
keep
throwing
grabbing
them.
more weapons constantly,
That's awesome.
and like there's like
That's great.
knives, swords.
That's in the third one.
That's the third one, okay.
The beginning of he's excommunicado from the second one. He kills the dude on continental grounds because it's the only way. He's like, this is the only way I'm gonna resolve this, because you're playing dirty. So he comes in. Winston's like, John, walk away, and just like without blinking an eye, he just walks in, shoots the guy, and then we pick up right there, and he's excommunicado, which means he's like now
removed.
none of the rules apply for him. You can kill him on continental grounds. He is not safe. You can't help him. Yeah. So that
help
scene
him would be you would also.
Yeah, you would get killed for that.
Yeah.
So that scene's great because it's like the first thing he does is he goes into this like antique weapons museum and he's like he's picking apart the revolver while the dudes are running up the stairs to get him, and he's like very patiently like putting it together, and he's listening for the click. Keanu Reeves had so much training for these movies. Yeah, and he's like a sharpshooter now too, and he's doing it. He puts the revolver together, like gets a bullet in there, spins it, clicks right when the guy opens the door, and he's able to get the one round off into the dude that he put in, and then he goes down. It's like tense, but it's fantastic.
They're great movies.
I love those. Really they're a really fun time.
I do want to say one thing I noticed recently, or just in this episode, we keep talking about things, and Joel hasn't had very much input because he hasn't seen too much. Not a big deal, but I do. This is perfect now because I want to include you more in it. I've been saving this hypothetical for a little while now, or as we call them, what do you call them?
Micah's high patheticals.
Yeah, because they're usually pretty pathetic. But I think this one's going to be good because you guys like this. So you two have always really liked the Purge movies.
We watched those all together.
I watched the crap out of it. I would come. So for those of you who don't know, we used to live together. And I would come home, and the two of you guys would just be watching those movies extensively. And you guys got really deep into like almost like the lore of what is
Skeletor, dude.
Yeah. And so
slow motion for no reason. Like he's like, oh man, that guy just threw a dish towel onto that cabinet. Like, we gotta get that in slow mo. Wait, do that again, but in slow mo this time.
So the hypothetical I have for you guys is, how would you survive the Purge? If you guys were inserted, if the Purge started today, how would you two survive? One at a time, not together.
Well, I think the best way, and this is going to be a shit answer, so this will not be my legit answer.
I'm going to do the joke answer first?
Yeah, I think the best way to survive the Purge is to be a no-name before the Purge comes around. You know, because if you're not wealthy, or you're not like the guy who invented the doors that protect your house, the Purge, then no one would have a reason to kill you, right? Because that's Ethan Hawke's character in the first one. Yeah. He's the guy who invented like the security systems on the houses to protect you from the Purge. Yeah. Well, that obviously easy target, right? Yeah.
And it didn't really work.
It didn't work. Like, mostly because of that no-name guy that what's his name? Well, he doesn't have a name, but he's in the first movie. He doesn't have a name. He's just like the visitor or the outsider or something like that. Is his name
homeless guy? Hold on, I'm checking.
It's something like that. He's not. He doesn't.
Bloody Stranger.
Bloody Stranger is his name.
Yeah.
And like they let him in the house, even though they don't want to do this, but they let him in because he's being attacked. And he ends up like saving the rest of the family in the end. Spoiler: that movie's super old.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. How I would survive the Purge, I feel like, so kind of a trend of like the ones after the first one is like moving around a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like you're staying on the move. I don't
survive the zombie apocalypse too.
Yeah, I don't know that is really the best way. I guess like, I don't know. What would you do, Will?
To survive
the Purge. I mean, because it's 12 hours, right? It's 12 hours.
Yeah, it's midnight to mid. Ooh.
No, it's like 7 to 7 or something.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. It's 12 hours.
Well, so you've got the first one. You get the perspective of a family who's hiding out,
bunkering down your house, locking up, like getting the really dope security system that.
And then you've got the rest of you got the Purge Anarchy where you got Frank Grillo is introduced and he's alpha male, cop. He's going out on the street in an armored car.
And this is the one where he's going to get revenge, right?
He's going to get revenge for
because his son was killed on.
Wait, are you guys giving a synopsis of the movies?
These are,
we're trying to explain.
It's two perspectives.
Yeah.
Because you've got, again, family who's hiding, trying to play it safe, and then you've got
on the run, moving constantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your goal here is just to tell me
how we would survive.
How would you, like, you're there. I mean, I guess if you're gonna, because so theoretically then, I'm going to make this as pathetic as possible.
Okay.
Theoretically, then, you have no idea about... Like, you have the idea of, like, the armored doors and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But I want you to picture yourself being there. Like, it can be the first Purge if you want it to be. Like, it's brand new. You haven't done this before. What are you going to do to survive? What is your go-to tactic right now without any foreknowledge of what the other people have done to survive?
First Purge? Well, there's a movie about that. I would go to a Purge party.
Oh, my gosh.
I would... people wouldn't take it seriously.
Okay.
And then I would be one of those people who's not taking it seriously. And then
he would just die.
Well, the government injects people to incite violence, and then they say, "See, this was a big success." That like,
do they control people?
I would say my favorite way.
Aren't they seen through the eyes of people at one point?
Or, yeah, they
wear
have
cameras.
The contacts.
Yeah. Contacts. That's because they're live streaming it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So really, like the whole goal of their way to is to like their goal is to stop the Purge from happening, because like it's horrible for like the lower classes. Like the whole reason why basically it exists is because the rich people like want to kill people and get away with it, and like do it as a sport. Yeah. But anyways, I really like the way. So in which one is it? It's the election year Purge.
Yeah.
Bubba from Forrest Gump, he like owns a shop, and he didn't let these people steal
because he doesn't have Purge insurance, he wants to defend it.
Right, so he stays with no, for real.
You're laughing.
I know he can't afford the Purge insurance, so he wants to defend his store. So he actually can't. But there's these crazy chicks who were trying to steal from his store during the day before the Purge.
Yeah.
He stops them. Doesn't want them doing that. He like hangs out on his roof with a rifle. The roof of the shop.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
I think
I just want to reiterate.
I'm answering you right now. I'm answering you right now.
But you're using foreknowledge. You're not supposed to use foreknowledge. I want you guys to just tell me if this is your very first Purge. You have Will's going to the Purge party that he found out about. He's dead. Whatever. We move on.
Oh no, I'd live.
Yeah.
I'm saying I would get a rifle. I would go to the top. Okay. I would go to the roof of a building, lock the door from. Hopefully, if I could lock the door from the outside, I doubt that. Anyways, bar the door to the roof.
You'd bar the door.
And know all the exits to that roof.
Okay. Hopefully there's only one, unless there's an escape ladder.
There might be like an escape ladder or something like that.
Okay.
I would get on top of a building, have a rifle, and I would probably try to keep to myself. I wouldn't be actively trying to shoot anyone, because like a lot of the people who are out there are either young stupid people, like rich, wealthy people trying to kill people, for sport.
Right. Or isn't the opposite? The other end is the poor trying to kill the rich to get their money.
I don't think really that's what it's used for.
Okay.
Like that was what it was. It was. Yeah. Anyways, the whole idea of it was to have a day where you could where they could get rid of like the people who are causing problems.
Well, didn't they market it? So I want to go and say that I haven't seen much of it. But weren't they marketing it as like a day to get rid of your aggression? But wasn't there like a secret motive?
But really, the poor people are not the ones who are taking advantage. They don't want to do that. But anyways, so I would be on top of a roof, would not try to instigate anything.
But defend yourself.
But I would defend myself if someone came from it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
As complicated as the movies make it out to be, it's only 12 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay, but I want you to. You had a comment that you said you would survive.
Oh yeah, I would survive
the Purge party. How would you, with again no foreknowledge of other people, how would you get out of the Purge party then?
Oh, we would not get out of it. You'd stay in it. Purge party is just like government says it's Purge time, and we have like a rave. Just me and my friends just hang out on a street block.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
But if I were actually for real wanting to survive a Purge, we live in Kansas, and it's not hard to reach a wheat field.
Right.
And I would like go and out into the middle of nowhere.
Lay down in the field. Sleep there for the night.
Yeah. 12
Wake
hours?
up in the morning, you're free.
I would
for
get
a year.
I would get a tight 12 hours. I'd go back to the city and I would see like what happened while I was gone. Who's still around?
Okay.
That's
So basically,
pussy
you would
out,
just be,
yes.
Yeah, you would be smart about it.
Well, why would you not? I mean,
No,
like,
I
if you
that's
like,
a good answer.
if you had the ability to,
Yeah.
and you don't have a reason to kill somebody else, which is really you shouldn't have one. But I'm saying like because the purge, it's
you have
now,
to have
just
one.
because it's legal makes it not moral. Like so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't need to kill anybody. I wouldn't need to commit any crimes. Like, and I would honestly, me personally, I would hate the purge because it would just ruin my normal routine.
Yeah.
Right.
Just get.
What happens?
I just sleep in a field one night a year.
Like,
Well, I think
It
actually.
doesn't matter.
Hold on, I'm gonna. Is it this is one thing I forget. Is the purge? Does it only pertain to the U.S.? If it does, then I would be like, okay, purge is coming around. I can take a trip to Canada for a weekend.
Yeah.
And
just book the flight like.
Well, there was something in like. Was it the first one
They
they barred travel. They barred
no,
travel.
they welcomed it because they talked about the
let
purge.
other people in. They let Europeans in
Yeah.
to kill other
Oh,
people. Because the Europeans wanted to take part
I
in
remember.
the purge.
Right.
I remember that.
So
I would go.
You'd be
you just go to Europe somewhere.
Yeah.
So you could do like a European Airbnb or like a reverse card, like, hey, you're European, I'm an American, we're having the purge, I want to get out of this, you want to get in this. How about I stay at your house?
Yeah, it's like
there would be a whole industry for that.
Yeah.
that's like
You could-
it's
yeah.
I would start
like
that.
What would you call it?
Airbnb murder. I'd get the B and you'd get to come over here and murder.
I would get to be
you should
alone.
do it's like it should be foreign exchange purge. Because like the students you switch with a European or
So instead of foreign exchange student,
it's purging.
Foreign exchange purge.
Yeah. I mean, like that's
what do you call someone who purges? Are they a purger or a purgee?
They're a purger.
You're a purger.
They're a proud American who is taking advantage of their right to purge.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
Right.
in this universe. That is what a politician would call it, who is pro-purge.
Yeah.
That when they do election day, they talk about this is very controversial. Obviously, a lot of people are anti-purge, but that is the group of people that's getting suppressed because the purge people are the ones who are currently in office, and they're like, this boosts our revenue nationwide because we've got people coming from other countries. You've got rich people killing poor people, and it's like there's whatever little they had can just fuel our economy.
Yeah.
And then you've got the activists who are saying I'm running for president to be anti-purge, and it really comes down to that. And
isn't in the election year one? Isn't one of the people who being attacked? Isn't she a politician who wants to end the purge?
Yes, that's actually
she's running for I think president.
Yeah.
She's running for president against the guy.
Who's pro-purge.
I think he is the guy who instituted the purge, right?
Not instituted, but he is injecting.
Yeah. But
people to.
What do you mean by injecting?
They having government agencies send military people into purge.
They go in and do things for people on purge because they can get away with it.
And
they're
then
getting rid of people that.
And then it incites violence, and they can claim it as a statistic that people were murdered, but they don't say that they were murdered by the government.
Yeah.
Right, because the problem was people were not. That's again the lower classes. They weren't taking part in purge.
Yeah.
Right.
And the whole point is that it was supposed to be a day where you're letting out your aggression, but if no one's doing it, then it's disproving the need for purge.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, Cersei is in the first Purge, or the original one.
She's the mom,
not
right?
the first Purge, but the one with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
But she's the mom, and that was weird.
You got to be careful about that.
Lena Headey.
Yeah, Lena Headey.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in that one, and that's strange. But that's the coolest thing. The Bloody Stranger actually comes back in the other one.
Yeah.
And
He's a
he actually has a
character?
recurring
I
role.
think he gets a name.
Yeah, he does have a name in the future ones, but he's leading units of people trying to overthrow.
Dante, his character becomes known as Dante Bishop.
Dante Bishop, yeah.
Yep.
And so I think isn't the cop, isn't he in two of them?
Frank Grillo.
Yeah.
He's in the first. He's in Purge Anarchy, and then in Purge Election Year, he is the director of security for the president.
Wow.
Right, but also isn't isn't there the one where? Which one's the one with the girl? That's the election year one. Is the one where the girl is being chased? Which one is that one?
Which?
The one where Frank Grillo's going out to get revenge.
That's Anarchy, because he still has a vendetta.
So that's before he is the assistant to the president, or the woman running for president, because he's defending these random, or he doesn't want to defend these random, but he's trying to kill the guy who killed his son on the Purge.
Mm-hmm. And I should correct myself. He's not the director of security for the president. He is director of security to that woman who's running for, because he himself is anti-Purge.
Right.
But is really good at killing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he ends up being a bigger man and not killing the guy, right?
Yep. Yeah. He comes out and doesn't kill the dude.
The guy shoots him.
No, the dad with the burger. He's got the apron, and he's got the aviators. He shows up at the tail end of it, shoots him, and then I think that guy ends up dying. Yeah. But then
this really just opened up a giant rabbit hole to what Purge.
Oh, Joel and I have more to say about that.
I can tell, and maybe we'll make that
maybe
segment for Disaster Minds. It's just Will and Joel. You guys can
go in depth on the Purge. Yeah,
talk about break down each episode or each movie.
I haven't seen the Forever Purge yet.
No, we need to see that one.
We knew.
Yeah.
That's great.
We can watch it sometime soon, probably.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, hey, that was good. I think you guys would do all right if you.
I think it's a lot simpler than the movies make it out.
Will's gonna die. I'm convinced Will would die.
No,
not if I got to a wheat field.
If you got to a wheat field, he's
if I did the Purge party is a risk.
You could get to a wheat field before.
Oh yeah.
Before the Purge even starts.
Yeah. It is tougher being in the middle of the country. I'm sure flights are booked on the weekend of the Purge. You'd have to schedule that so far in advance. I might not be able to get out of the country, but if I did start that business of European exchange for the Purge weekend, then we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Right. I think you'd be good.
I'll start that business.
I think you guys.
But I think on the first year of it, I think getting on top of a building, getting a rifle, just getting some sort of defense, because
have a beer,
not knowing ahead of time what's gonna take place.
That's just my plan for the zombie apocalypse. Though I'm gonna bunker down in Menards.
Actually, that's a fantastic idea.
I know it is. Yeah, I really shouldn't broadcast this, but I'm gonna go to Menards with a couple different guns.
I think a lot of people could stand to be with you at Menards.
No, I agree. I wouldn't want people in Menards with me though. Is the thing, because there's obviously going to be limited rations, so I want to bunker down.
There wouldn't be limited rations. You're at Menards. You could start a garden, and you could have a whole section of the store for gardening. You'd need a team of people to monitor that, who know what they're doing. I think Menards is a good play.
The problem is that when it gets to a point of too many people, then you have the problem of if there is some sort of outbreak, you cannot control that to the same degree.
So I'm gonna
it's Menards.
10 people.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm 10 people.
It's like Bed Bath and Beyond from Click. You go into the Beyond section and it's this whole other world where Christopher Walken works. You ever seen that movie?
Click, yeah, I have. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's funny, because Kate Beckinsale is in that movie. She plays his wife.
Yeah,
I like Kate Beckinsale.
You got very quiet when you started talking about Kate Beckinsale.
Because my wife listens to this, and I'm not going to say anything else about that.
Well, you've said enough.
I have definitely said enough. Okay, great. Moving on, so I don't have to sleep on the couch tonight. I know we bring this up probably way too much, but talking about Marvel again, because I like it. I don't know if you guys do. You know what? No, let's not talk about Marvel no more. I want to talk about Star Wars instead.
Okay.
Can we talk about a little about the Book of Boba Fett?
Looping back around to Book of Boba Fett.
Let's go now. Whip ourselves back around to begin this whole thing.
I did like your hypothetical about the Purge. I think that's right up.
I agree.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Mandalorian season 3. We all want it. I think. Can we all say we want it?
I'm down to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I thought that the first season of The Mandalorian didn't have a lot of a
context
plot.
Plot.
I don't know, like a driving plot through the center.
Mm-hmm.
The second season I thought was amazing. So I don't really know where I feel, but also he's done with that mission. Not that is. I mean, it's about him. It's not about.
Right.
It's not about Grogu, but
my issue with that would be that the fact that they spent 2 seasons on the Grogu story, and now they're going to switch it and like just totally shift gears and do something else.
You're right.
I feel like that would be weird. I feel like it'd be really weird to separate the Mandalorian from Grogu.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not really the Mandalorian. It's not the show.
No,
it's called the Mandalorian.
It is, but very
like
quickly,
the professional.
Because of the plot, but he's not really a professional.
No, he's a professional, but like he dies, and then you're like, this wasn't really about him.
The movie The Professional.
This is the
Leon.
one. Leon the Professional. Oh yeah, that's a great movie. Yeah.
But no, I think you guys are right. Any introduction of a new conflict to get the Mandalorian involved would seem forced.
Unless
it's not forced though, because that's what he does. He's a bounty hunter, like he does. But I just feel like he's had such a character change.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like individually, he's a different person than he was when the show started. And I don't know, other than like starting daddy daycare or something, I don't know what he could do that would really like fit his new like where his heart is at and his personality. He's not really. I can't imagine him going back and killing people now after what he spent
just
all
that
money. Time doing. Yeah. And because he handed off Grogu, which was probably the right ending, but that maybe should just be the ending. I don't know.
No, I agree, and I think that maybe I wasn't expecting a 3rd season after the conclusion of season 2. I thought, okay, this is finished.
Did they announce a 3rd season?
It's in the works. We know that. We know that they're working on a 3rd season for The Mandalorian, but also season 2. It completely concluded because the enemy isn't even there anymore. The one who was after the child, right? And so to introduce a new villain, a new story. You're right. He's a different character.
It's like it's a different show.
Yeah,
you could argue like True Detective has 3 different plots, 3 different seasons.
But each season,
I know, but it's not the same character. I don't know. I don't know how they could pull that off. I mean, they could pull it off. But I don't know.
I'm not going to doubt Jon Favreau because he hasn't disappointed us yet, in my opinion, with these Disney shows. But I don't know. I'm more interested to see how they would continue it without it going down, because I think our expectations are going to be way up here after what we witnessed, and I don't know how they could.
I just don't know what's left with his story.
I don't either.
I think that was a great little one-off thing.
And really,
2 seasons, but not really like a
right. But Disney Plus with the Marvel, all those shows are one-offs. Winter and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, WandaVision. All those were.
You only need one season.
Yeah, they were one-off seasons to
why
set up for
force
something.
anything else?
Yeah.
I don't. At this point, like they have an endless amount of content they can make. I don't know why you would need to force something that is not there. And I kind of hope they don't have another one. I enjoyed the 2nd season a lot. I don't know that I need any more.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm really just I'm intrigued to see where when it comes out, if it comes out, this is what they'll do with it. So yeah,
me too.
Okay. Do you have any like theories for what you think could happen with that? Like who he could be going after? I know.
Like the thing is I don't think that's. If they were to continue, I don't think he'd be going after, I think, people anymore, unless he's, like, making a stand and no longer being because he would kind of, beforehand, he would kind of be defined as, like, an anti-hero, right?
Yeah.
Because he's not really for anybody.
As a bounty hunter, yeah.
Yeah. So, I just feel like, at this point, he's kind of chosen a side, whether or not he's chosen an actual side. He's chosen good.
Right. Well, if he becomes a bounty hunter again, then he's going to be a probably really wimpy bounty hunter if he starts leading with.
How can he go back to bounty hunting? I don't think I just don't. That's why I can. The problem is I can't see a plot that would fit what I feel should happen. So if he did go back to bounty hunting, okay. Yeah. But I don't know that really makes sense for his character anymore.
I agree.
So I don't have a.
Yeah, I'm excited.
If he did, unless I was trying to think of a way that you could bring back like Grogu, like that's just kind of boring though. Like thinking about him helping with his progression, like.
Well, what more could him and the Mandalorian do together?
Nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
because the whole story was him trying to rescue.
And you can't make the Mandalorian series just him delivering younglings to the council or whatever. Like you can't. Like,
I don't know.
He's a baby bounty.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What if the Mandalorian is like?
What if he takes his bounty hunting skills to find
to Luke, right?
younglings.
Yeah, what if Luke
he, like,
actually
does
comes
that.
to him and employs him to be the...
What if he rebuilds the Jedi Order?
What if he helps him? Oh, Joel, you're onto something now. Your joke is actually now a theory.
I'm not. I wasn't joking.
Joel, say more.
I just... Okay, so...
I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down.
I don't know. That seems really repetitive. It can be done. Like, most shows are repetitive.
Okay, hold on. Yes, I want to say this. But, hold on, think about this. So, the Clone Wars, the anime series, right? That show is actually depicted as... Or, sorry, not depicted. It's categorized like as an anthology. Which is like 3 arcs or 3-story arcs, which is like 3 episodes go together in no specific order. Well, sorry, the 3 stories do, but like you move on to a new story
before you finish the previous story, or
no, you can finish. You can have a conclusion to this story, but then the next story can take place at any point, right?
An anthology is just a bunch of stories in a universe, right?
Yes, exactly. And they can be about the same people.
They're all related to the Clone Wars.
Yes, exactly.
But they're not all related to each other.
But so the Mandalorian could take on that idea of like having 2 episode like anthology stories where they kind of build upon themselves.
I don't know. I think maybe they could, but like it took them a whole season to go nowhere.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm sorry. I didn't think I enjoyed the show. I just don't see the first season was very like there's no like this could not exist and I would not notice.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think overall for me because I realized I always am excited to see something and I realize it's not necessarily because I have this like excitement about the particular show. I just love consuming
the
entertainment.
Universe
Universe, yes, but like entertainment in general. Like, I mean, that's why this podcast exists. Exactly.
I agree.
But,
it's just continuing a show when the show should have ended years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, like
it's different. I mean,
you're running something that could have ended as phenomenal, and you're lowering its value over time, basically.
See, I would argue that you're correct in that, but again, Jon Favreau, I said Disney Plus, but overall, I mean, you can thank him for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And isn't the guy who wrote Avatar: The Last Airbender, isn't he also a big part of it?
Dave Filoni or whatever.
Dave Filoni?
Filoni, yeah.
Yeah,
he's a big part of it. He's actually wrote a couple
yeah.
episodes for Book of Boba Fett. My point is, regardless, they haven't let me down yet, so my expectations for Mandalorian 3 are neither high but not super low. Not low at all, really, because I think that they're going to deliver on whatever that they do. So,
no, I agree. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying I can't picture how they're going to do it.
Because I understand.
Because I don't.
That takes openness.
Yeah. Just for me, the story's done.
It'd be cool if they kind of go back to the John Wick like fleshing out the universe thing. If they kind of just fleshed out more. Maybe
it's already there though.
I've always thought Star Wars is the perfect place for that.
Mandalorian's universe, right? Like I said, like maybe he's gonna try and get back in with on Mandalore and get back with the Mandalorians. I don't know.
Up to this point in Star Wars, almost everything has revolved around the Skywalker story.
Yeah.
But that universe is massive, and that was a long time ago. Let's see what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I don't. So
fast forward.
Yeah. So I just think that universe is crazy, has so much potential, and we stick in this one window of time.
Yeah.
And like.
I would argue that we're starting to do more now because we did have the Mandalorian. Yes, Luke came back into it, but now we have the Book of Boba Fett, and that's what
he's still from that universe.
Okay, yeah. But like I said earlier, it might have been in this episode where like a comic book character, a new hero, was introduced in another comic book's universe or in their issue, and then they got their own story and they fleshed that out, and that fleshed out, and they just kept growing it. And maybe that's what they're trying to do now.
No, that's fair.
So they could eventually expand. But
I just mean for Game of Thrones, they have that new show that's going to be coming out. The
House of Dragon.
Yeah, House of the Dragon. That's going to take place in a completely different time period.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's cool.
But it's still centered around what? The Targaryens, which is what Game of Thrones originally was centered around.
I understand, but it's a completely different point in time.
Yeah.
Different point
not within a 60-year window.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. Anyways.
Yeah.
A lot can happen, but does a lot need to happen. A lot of people don't even expect anything. I don't expect anything from The Mandalorian. I think it was resolved.
Yeah.
If anything happens, I will watch it.
For sure.
But definitely on the same page as Joel in terms of, he did a complete character change. His heart is different. His thought process is different. His morals are different now.
I agree.
And, there's an arc there.
Yeah.
And they did a great job with it.
They did a great job.
They did.
Yeah.
I agree. It could have concluded. But we'll see. We don't know.
We will see. That is bottom line stuff is going to happen.
Boom. And we'll let you know what we think. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us on this episode of the DisasterMinds Podcast. Join us next time. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.